Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
8:37 now on O'Connor and Company, and we're going to hand it off to Chris Plant coming up in 30 minutes. But, well, we've got a little bit more to handle here. It's Larry O'Connor with Bethany Mandel, and we're joined by Katie McFarland. Bethany, say hi to Katie.
I'm so excited to talk to Katie. She is brilliant. And
yes, she is.
I think that every Thursday of mine should involve a conversation with her, whether she...
It generally does. She's a regular on Thursday.
I know.
Good morning, Katie. How are you?
Good morning.
Well, the face-off is planned in Alaska this weekend between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin. Take a listen to what the president said yesterday while he was engaged with the media at the Kennedy Center.
Will Russia face any consequences if Vladimir Putin does not agree to stop the war after your meeting on Friday?
Yes, they will. Yeah.
What will the consequences
There will be
consequences? Sanctions, tariffs?
There will be, I don't have to say, there will be very severe consequences, yes.
That's pretty unequivocal. And boy, talk about raising the bar for expectations. Basically, that's the president saying this meeting will result in a ceasefire and an end of these hostilities, or there will be severe consequences. Were you expecting that?
Yeah, and here's why. You know, I've been thinking, racking my brain about why is Donald Trump so successful in all these negotiations when previous presidents have really failed to do it. And I realized that Donald Trump, because he approaches things like a businessman and a real estate developer. So if you're a real estate developer, get in that head. Okay, all you have up front are costs. You have to buy the land. You have to hire the guys who are going to work. You need the raw materials. A lot of stuff could go wrong. Bad weather, union problems, political problems. So you've got two things you got to focus on. You want to get this deal done as fast as you can because time is money. And secondly, you got to improvise, and you got to keep improvising. And so I think Donald Trump goes to every meeting that he has, including the one tomorrow, with, I'm going to improvise. I got plan A, I got plan B, I got plan C. And when he says, well, we'll see what happens, or I don't know, it's not because he doesn't know. It's because he doesn't know which plan he's going to have to do. And so when I think about, okay, so what was the whole plan about Russia, Ukraine? He was thought his charm and personality would bring both Zelensky and Putin to the table. Didn't work. That was plan A. So on to plan B. Plan B was to use economic pressure to get them to the table. Well, it worked with Zelensky because we promised a rare earth minerals deal, and we also said, look, we're going to not give you military equipment unless you go to the table. So Ukraine, Plan B works with Ukraine. It did not work with Russia. So we're on to Plan C. Plan C, they're meeting tomorrow. And either it's going to be clear that President Putin just wants to drag this on, he's kind of playing for time, or he really wants to have a genuine good faith negotiation. And if he doesn't want to have a good faith negotiation, we're on to Plan D. And Plan D will be these serious, really crippling economic sanctions.
So there was that really, really interesting Zelensky moment in the Oval.
Yeah.
It was one of my favorite moments. What do you think, do you think that Zelensky has learned any lessons from that? And what do you think his sort of posturing will be with President Trump going into this, both in front of the cameras and without them rolling?
Well, first of all, there's no difference between cameras rolling and cameras not rolling. President Trump says the same thing in public as he does in private.
I was more thinking Zelensky, but yeah.
Well, so it certainly happened with Zelensky. I think Zelensky's waiting to see, like everybody's waiting to see, what's President Putin going to do, hard way or easy way? And if President Trump walks in and realizes, okay, I've got everybody lined up, but not Putin, and Putin stalls, stiff arms, whatever he's going to do, I think President Trump walks out. And then he goes the hard way. And the hard way is, so what we could do is, if there are two things we could do that would just crush Russia's economy. First of all, we control the international banking system. And think about it this way. Larry, let's say you want to write me a check for something.
Yeah.
Anything. And that check has to clear the bank. And whether it's you or it's Putin or any other countries, it's got to clear an American bank. Everything is done in dollars. So the United States could just say, okay, Russia, you don't get to cash any more checks in an American bank, which means you don't get in the international banking system, you're kicked out. The other thing we could do is these secondary sanctions we've already started with India saying, you buy Russian oil, then you're going to pay a real penalty. And so we convinced the countries that buy Russian stuff not to. And that bankrupts Russia because they don't have any income other than really they're selling their oil and natural gas. I mean, maybe caviar and vodka, but that doesn't bring in much.
Yes, well, it depends. If I'm buying it, it's not going to be cheap. No, that absolutely makes sense. And by the way, just to go back to something, I should point out, KT has written a really, really thoughtful and intriguing column about Trump's Putin strategy. It's at foxnews.com. He recently said, I think it was 3 days ago, that he'll know within 2 minutes if Putin is serious or not, and if he's not, he'll walk out. Is that something you've observed from Trump as well? And, I mean, could this be a Reagan-Reykjavik moment?
Oh, completely a Reagan-Reykjavik moment. Probably less polite, though. No, here's the thing. When I was sitting down as Deputy National Security Advisor, sitting down with the Chinese counterparts, preparing for a Chinese-American summit. And the Chinese, all they wanted to do was, let's get this point settled, let's get that point settled. And I said, whoa. You know, Donald Trump wants to meet the guy first, the decision maker, meet him first, come to some understandings, and then guys like us, the staff guys, will work out the details. But most presidents, they have the staff work out the details. So by the time the two leaders meet, everything's already been decided. You just smile for the photo and shake
here
hands.
It's the opposite.
And here it gets on its head, turned on its head.
Interesting. I'm sorry, KT. We're up against it, as you know, but real fast. If you're, I know this may be challenging for you since you're a red, white, and blue gal, but if you were advising Putin right now, if you were part of the Kremlin team, what would you be telling Vladimir Putin on the eve of this meeting?
Do a deal now. You're never going to have another chance. Do the deal now. You're not going to get everything you want, but you'll get something. You get enough to live with. And because if you don't do the deal, you're going to face economic, Siberia.
Even, worse than it already is. All right, KT, we got to leave it there. We'll be watching, and we can't wait to get your assessment next week. All eyes will be on Alaska, where, by the way, I don't know if you know this, you can actually see Russia from Alaska, or certain parts of it. Thank you, KT. It is 8:44.
Making sense of your world.
Thank you for what you do.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
You give me hope.
Making sense of the news.